there's about a 15-second delay. So I think once that's live, then I should be able to get a link. Is there any feedback that you're hearing? Okay. Share. Okay. We're going to turn the sound off at the moment. Okay. Go up to.
Take for the link, go to the embed tab on the YouTube.
Here. Did I do something wrong?
The link you copied was a short link.
Don't.
I'm not sure that will work.
Okay, good.
Embed.
Okay.
And then if you're able to.
That's what I want.
All the way up to the question mark.
Before the question mark?
You can grab the question mark too.
Okay. And then here. Yep.
And then type question mark autoplay equals
1. Auto, one word or two?
One word.
Equals 1. Okay. What does that do? Autoplay that.
Autoplay it.
Okay.
And then I think we've got the embedded.
So is there any button where I would save? So I can see that we're live here. So we're live right now. Yeah. One watching, that must be me. And do I need to hit save someplace?
At the very bottom.
Okay. Oops, I didn't want to do that though.
Okay, well, we're live on the forum site now.
By hitting that button.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll go back there.
In theory. Let's see.
Okay, great. So it's a little bit before 5 o'clock Eastern time. We're getting ready to go live at 5. We're just doing a little bit of setup right now. And I'm going to turn the sound down here. Okay. And I need to change out that type.
The extra BR that's in there?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be in there. I'm going to fix that manually.
Okay. So Mike, if you could just double check that you can hear me, because I've turned down some sound and I don't actually hear myself. So I just want to make sure that we're okay. Okay. So bear with us if you're just joining us for WGAN-TV Live. Just minutes before we're actually live, but we're doing a little bit of setup to make sure we actually know what we're doing right now. So thanks for joining us. If you'd like to be in the live virtual studio audience, you'll see that red button over there, Join Virtual Studio Audience. Generally, you would do that prior to us actually going live. And today's topic, what's in your Matterport service provider gear kit, we'll get started at 5 o'clock Eastern time. We're just doing some technical setup right now, just make sure we got everything working. The good news is technically everything is working here. So if you're just tuning in, you're seeing a little bit of the behind the scenes as we get ready for today's WGAN TV Live at 5. Topic is what's in your Matterport service provider gear kit. We'll get going at 5 o'clock Eastern time. Still working with my tech right now to just make sure that we are all set up. And just about 12 minutes from air. I know that's kind of odd because we're actually live now, but just pretend it's not live. Right now, this is actually just us getting set up, making sure that it's supposed to work the way that we think it should, or could, or would, or will. Again, that Join Virtual Studio Audience button. Any member that we get around Network Forum can join the virtual studio audience, join me, ask questions, participate in today's topic. And once you join the virtual studio audience, you can participate in any live program, and you already have the link and the password, and you'll be all set. That's just a special perk for We Get Around Network Forum members. So our tech mic is in the other office, just swapping out some text at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to hit refresh and see what happens for me. And I think he's still working on that. So thanks for bearing with us as we do a technical rehearsal, actually doing the technical rehearsal live, because there's no other way to make sure it actually works than to plug in the code in the back end and make sure what we think is happening is happening. So coming up at 5 o'clock Eastern time, just about 10 minutes from now, the topic is what's in your Matterport service provider gear kit. I think we have some special program, for you, particularly if you're new to Matterport or you're thinking about getting Matterport. And the question is, well, what kind of stuff do you need? Other than the camera and the tripod and an iPad, what else? Well, it turns out I carry a lot of stuff with me. So I thought I'd share with you what that is. So that's coming up at 5 o'clock Eastern time. We're just in the midst of a technical rehearsal right now. So thanks for bearing with us. And let's see. So I'm Dan Smigrod. I'm the founder of the We Get Around Network Forum. Today is the first day of We Get Around the WGAN-TV Live. And we're going to be doing this Monday through Friday from 5 to 6. You can check the program schedule off to your right. There's a little button just under the Join Virtual Studio Audience. It says WGAN TV Program Schedule. So you can check on that to see what's coming up for live programming. Tomorrow, it turns out we're going to preempt our WGAN TV Live at 5 to bring you a live event. And we'll be streaming from an Atlanta HoloLens meetup and checking out some of the new gear from Microsoft, the new VR viewer. And that'll just be a live stream event here in Atlanta. That's coming up tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern time on Tuesday. So again, our tech Mike is in the midst of just getting us set up. And Mike, if you're listening there in the other room, if you could change the caption below my picture, that would be great. To today's topic, what's in your Matterport service provider gear kit? So we'll get started in about 8 minutes, 5 o'clock Eastern time with Live at 5. Right now, we're still in the midst of a tech rehearsal. We just happen to be broadcasting our tech rehearsal live, so we can just make sure that we could actually do what we thought we would be able to do. And so coming up at 5 will be what's in your Matterport service provider gear kit. For those who are thinking about buying a Matterport camera, the question is going to be, well, what kind of gear do I need? And so I'm going to take you through what I have. And Mike, I'm still looking, Mike, so I'm still looking at the caption. And if you could swap that out. So let's see. Oh, there we go. I've refreshed my my caption. So over here, I don't know if that'll work, but we'll show you Mike, our tech, who's working the magic behind the scenes with Ninja Post, the founder of Ninja Post. So I'll bring that back here. So you can see there's a little bit of a delay there. So anyway, hey, just like on television.
That's what's taking so long with the changes.
Okay. So, it looks like we're actually all set to kick off at 5 o'clock. It's 8 minutes to 5, and Mike has been working around the clock on the weekends and the weekdays in order to actually make sure that everything would be technically ready to do what we want to do. And so we think this is really cool because it's kind of a mashup of a lot of people can simultaneously be in our virtual TV studio and also stream it to you live here on the front page of the We Get Around Network Forum. So if you want to turn the sound down for the next 7 minutes, I'm just going to ad lib for anybody that just may be tuning in, just to let you know that we're going to begin WGAN TV live at 5 o'clock Eastern time today. And so that's what's going on. Mike, you got any questions for me? We good?
I'm gonna fix some colors there on the screen.
Yeah.
But besides that, it seemed to be working. I was in the other office. I could hear everything you said loud and clear.
Oh, you could hear it live. Oh, so that's good. We actually have now done a sound check, and the sound actually is working. Is that what's happening?
That's right.
That's right. Okay, cool. All right. So let's see what we got going on here. And head over. I just want to take a look over here for a second. So it looks like I think thousands. I'm looking at the viewer count. Looks like thousands of people are actually tuning in. I guess that would be the marketing and promotion person in me, maybe exaggerating the total number of people watching. So anyway, coming up at 5. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. We're gonna try and do it in an hour, but it may be run a little bit late. So anyway, this was kind of cool. Did you all get out there today with your solar eclipse classes? It was almost a full eclipse in Atlanta, and so that was fun. Had a good time. It was a big party on the rooftop where we are, and at Atlanta Tech Village, YouTube.com. And let me see if I can actually just share that with you. Let's see. And I have to go here, come out of that window, and then I want to go back to here, and I think I can share a screen, and let's go there to see what happens. Oh, there's a lot going on there. Oh, that next video is up, so I'm going to stop that. So anyway, we're going to get started in 4 minutes at 5 o'clock Eastern time. Yes, we are live, and we've been doing a tech rehearsal here at WGAN-TV in Atlanta to actually make sure that things are able to work like we hope or expect. So that's kind of cool. And things are working. And so hopefully we have a treat for you coming up at 5 o'clock, particularly if you're thinking about buying a Matterport camera. What else do you need to buy, other than maybe a tripod and an iPad? And it turns out there's a lot of stuff. And I'll take you through the We Get Around Atlanta gear kit. And then you can kind of decide on your own whether you need all this stuff or you want something else. And we're almost ready to get started. So thanks for bearing with me. Kind of an interesting technical arrangement to get everything working so that we could stream to the front page of the We Get Around Network forum. Incidentally, today is actually the premiere of WGAN TV Live. Live at 5. So I think this is kind of cool. While you're checking out the latest forum threads, that you're able to see whatever news or topic that we have of the day. So we'll be getting started right around 5 o'clock Eastern time. So I appreciate your patience. Thanks for tuning in. And Mike, if you're listening in the other room, I'm just wondering if there are some controls at the bottom. I don't think I see them, so that if anyone wanted to go full screen from the full page, yep, I see them. So that's good. So if you actually wanted this as a full page, just tap on the WGAN TV live video. It'll call up some YouTube controls at the bottom, and you can go full screen. So that's cool. Head back to my window here. Okay. Okay, we're almost ready to get started at 5 o'clock Eastern time. Again, we've been doing a tech rehearsal. We wouldn't normally take you through just some of the behind the scenes as we're getting set up to double check video and audio and actually make sure everything was working. And so if you've tuned in a little bit early or you just happen to be looking at the forum and you're wondering what's happening, we're just about to premiere WGAN TV Live at 5 at 5 o'clock Eastern time on Monday, August 21. So that's what's happening. I'm actually just talking so that you know that you can hear the audio before we actually get started. I'm going to try and make sure I keep my screen still for you. So let's see what we got going on. And let's see. And I think we got one that's going to listen in here is Marcus. So Marcus, just checking that you're there. So I'm going to go ahead and put you on mute for the first part of the program, Marcus. So thanks for joining. And let's see. And I'm going to take you off that screen for the moment, and we're going to get started here. Hi, I'm Dan Smigrod, founder of the We Get Around Network Forum. You're watching WGAN-TV. Today is live at 5 o'clock Eastern Time on Monday, August 21. So I hope you got a chance to get out there for the solar eclipse. That was pretty crazy. I had a chance to shoot some time-lapse video just at our rooftop party here in Atlanta, and I've shared that video with you. So today's topic is what is in your Matterport service provider gear kit. And so I wanted to do this program particularly for those that are, well, I would say maybe three things. First, if you're thinking about getting a Matterport camera, one of the likely questions you have is, what gear do I need? What stuff do I need to bring with me? And then second, if you're just getting started, it's a similar question where, okay, you've bought some things, but what else might you also get? And then I think the third thing is, if you're a seasoned Matterport service provider, that you might say, oh, I didn't even think about carrying that. That's that's a great idea. So so why don't we jump into it? And I think that the first thing is you need a camera. So let's pull that out just for a second. And I'll explain what I have it in. But here's my Matterport camera. You got to have that. Okay. And then I happen to have it in this case. I really wanted to show you this. This happens to be a think tank case. And there are a lot of cases that will actually fit a Matterport camera. I happen to like this one. It's got a nice zip top pocket at the top right there. And so here I carry a level. And this one's probably $10 from Stanley, the Home Depot. But truly almost any level is going to be fine, but just as a best practice, I would recommend always using a level on every scan. Literally, if you're going to shoot 200 scans, put this on the top, make sure each one is level. My feeling is the model, and I may be wrong, but my feeling is the model process is faster, and I'm more likely to be successful, and I'm going to have less scanning merge errors. So anyway, I happen to like this particular one because it's got rubber ends on each side. And after you've been scanning for, let's see, so 6 o'clock, 7.5 hours, I think I actually scanned just 2 days ago, you get a little slap happy, and this thing is liable to go from the top of the camera and drop. And it just happens to drop on the rubber piece. So you can go for the $1 or $5 or $7, but truly, if you get one that has the rubber ends and it falls down, less likely that it's going to break. And incidentally, I do actually carry a second one. I tend to be a little bit obsessed just in case something does break. I bought this early on. This is actually a digital one, and it actually makes noise, so you can actually tell when you're level. This is probably about $25, but I found that it was really overkill. I'm just perfectly fine putting this level on top of the camera, and boom, I'm done. And I know that we do have a We Get Around Network forum discussion on today's topic about what am I going to say? Today's topic about what's in your Matterport service provider gear kit. And there's likely to be a number of you that may even disagree and say, no, you just need a dollar bubble level, glue it to the top of the camera and be done with it. Why am I messing with this? So anyway, let's see. Okay, so I carry 2 levels. I also carry a charger. And you say, well, why would you need that? You know, obviously for the, you know, the iPad, but I make sure, you know, it's possible. I try to put together a kit and keep it all together. And you know, even though I could use this for my iPhone in the office or at home, I try to always carry it in the bag. And typically I would carry at least 2 of these cables and a charger. And I also generally carry a battery. This is a portable battery. Um, this one happens to be pocket juice. I think the one I personally prefer is a lime juice version. Um, the one that I have, I don't think I brought it with me. See, I didn't have it in my kit, so I don't have it to share with you, right? I pirated it to use for my iPhone. But one of the things about these portable batteries is this one has two ports in it. And the version I happen to like has 4 ports. So you can be charging your iPad, iPhone, and you may have yet another device for whatever reason, and you can make a friend as well. So it's nice to have 4, but I would say the minimum to carry is 2. This one is a little bit long for me. I like to carry it in my back pocket, and then I can plug it into my iPad and I can plug it into my iPad and my iPhone simultaneously. And so just be careful you don't catch the wire on the tripod, and otherwise you're good to go. So anyway, this is my bag. What I wanted to show you here is it has a really nice slot for my iPad. So it's actually designed, even though this was not custom built for Matterport, it just happens that I guess the designer felt, that was a good size for something, and people seem to carry their iPads today. And so voila, I can pull out my iPad and, that's where I have it. Let me just take a sip of water here for a second. Mike, everything good? We're good. Okay. Make sure we're actually still on the air. iPad, I would just recommend personally get the one that has the most storage. If you try to get less storage, I promise you're gonna regret it. Get the one that has the most storage. I personally recommend getting one that has be able to do the telephone so that you can do it either Wi-Fi or not Wi-Fi. Even though you might say, well, it's another $10 a month, connected to my iPad. I still recommend at least buying the iPad so that you have that option. I know there's sometime you're going to be in a pickle. You're going to start to want to upload from the car or from wherever you are. You don't have Wi-Fi, and now you're able to immediately begin uploading. So I highly recommend doing that. Almost every model that we scan, we're already uploading it while we're traveling. And I know sometimes we've been an hour away from the home or office, and we want to start uploading immediately. Now, on this particular one, I have a case. It's called a Native Union case, and I love this. This kind of curls up like this. So that's now out of the way, and on the back is this place where I can just put my hand in it. So now I can carry it, and now when I'm moving the tripod, I'm comfortable enough to let go and then grab the tripod and move the tripod. So anyway, you want to make sure you have a really good case if you're going to do that. But the first thing I would say about this this particular, let me see if I can pop it off my iPad just so that you can see. And there are many companies that make these. I just happen to like this particular one. And incidentally, if you like any of the things that I'm showing you today, I do curate on the forum. The Buy Gear tab will take you to anything that we're discussing today to just make it easy. All the links are in one place. Yes, I am an Amazon associate. Yes, we get 4% or more on anything you buy. I don't really make a living from that, but consider it the tip jar if you are buying gear and you want to shop for anything. Thanks for using the link, because it does generate some revenue, and I do appreciate that. So this is the case. So you can see that. Let me hold that up. And it's very easy just to snap in your iPad. Boom. Okay. And I want to just point out some other things about why I love this. So I have the chance to put my hand through it to hold it, and then hold it when I'm moving the tripod. But frequently, I'm not rotating behind the camera. I'm putting this down on a desktop. So I can just put this piece out here to keep the nice furniture, not scuffing it up. And then I have a place to put this, and I can just literally set that up on a desktop. And I love that. And I can also do that vertically for whatever reason if you like doing that. So this is so versatile. It's really amazing. And then on the back here, it also has a place to put your fingers in here. I don't happen to do this, but let me just at least show you. I'm now holding very securely my iPad, and I love that. And I know some of you might think about, well, should I get the really big one? Some of our members actually do use the full-size iPad, but what I really like about this one is it's lighter than the big one. You could certainly use the big one, but if you're scanning for 7 hours and you're holding that big iPad, you may go, oh, gee, I wish I got one that was a little bit smaller. So I actually love this. So what else is in this kit here? Let's see. I do have a pen, and this is nice. It actually came with kind of a little rain poncho to cover the case, so I could actually do that. But I actually, let's see, I'm looking for, here, I'm going off channel here a second. This is a poncho, and I carry a couple ponchos actually just to cover my case in the event that I need to go from the house to the car, from the car, et cetera. Incidentally, I should show you something else. I'll have to wheel over my suitcase in a second. So this is the charging cable that, if I could trouble you, Mike, for that. This is the charging cable, and it's in the case. So it's really, really nice. So I'm going to put the cable back in here, the rain poncho back in here, and so the iPad came from in here. There was one more thing that I carry in my case. This is the emergency checklist for the Matterport Capture app. So every once in a while, somebody in the forum will go, help, I'm on location and something's not working. Can you help me? And then we start asking questions like, okay, well, which version of the app are you using? Which version of the software are you using? What version of the firmware? And then we try our best to try and figure out what's going on. Well, over time, I've kind of tried to capture all the input of everyone's ideas on what to do in the case of an emergency on site, because we know that it only happens on nights and weekends when we're scanning, and there's just not anybody to call. So, but it's nice to know that you can always go into the forum, and it seems like 24/7. There's always someone listening in case there's a problem or challenge with somebody on site. But even I have printed out the checklist and carry it with me. So where do you get the checklist? It's in the forum. It's one of the forum discussions that's pinned, one of the red star, it's pinned to the top. It's always there because this question generally comes up once every 2 weeks. Somebody's on site and they're having a problem, and hopefully this checklist will deal with first just to kind of calm down and say, here are the next steps to methodically go through to troubleshoot. So anyway, checklist. Anyway, Mike was nice enough to bring this over. This is a standard rollerboard suitcase, and you go, really? What do you do with that? Well, it turns out that I like putting the Matterport camera in its own case, and then all the stuff I'm showing you, it really, except for the tripod, it really actually all fits in a suitcase. So I like just rolling that in to go on scans. And the suitcase, we pass that among team members. So another team member needs to go out on a scan, and everything's in the suitcase. It's always there. I know you may be tempted, particularly if you're just starting out and you go, oh, gee, I have an iPad. I use it for something else, and I have, some other kind of it's, you know, stuff, and you're tempted to keep it separate. And then all of a sudden you show up on a shoot, you go, oh my gosh, I don't have a tripod. I didn't bring my camera head. My iPad. I don't have my iPad. I don't have my camera head. I'm missing a cable to charge. I'm missing a battery. So we try to just put it all in one suitcase and bring it with us. So with one exception, and that is actually the tripod. So I happen to carry the tripod in a case. Let's see if we have a name on. This happens to be a Manfrotto case, but frankly, almost any case for the appropriate size tripod's going to work. But I like it. You know, it looks kind of, maybe the suitcase doesn't look so professional showing up on a shoot, but you know, this is, you know, professional looking. I like to look nice on a shoot. And then I'm going to pull out the tripod. And this is probably a tripod that's a little bit different than what Matterport recommends. I'm going to tell you why I use this and why I recommend this. So if you can see right here, this is it. in fact, Mike, can I trouble you for that other tripod down there? So thank you. I just want to show that this one has, let's see how to do this. This one has 3 legs and this one has 2 legs. And it turns out if you make all the legs, extend all the legs, the tripods are the same height. So why would you want to have 3 instead of 2? And the answer is when you want to take your tripod and actually do stick it in your luggage and go on a flight, this will actually fit in the luggage. And the 2-section tripod, excuse me, let me see if I can show you that. Okay, thank you. They're different in height, so let's see how I do this. Okay, if I just keep going like this, you can see they're different in length. So again, both tripods extend to the identical height, but one does it with 3 legs and one does it with 2 legs. And so I love having the 3 pieces because there's been a number of times that I've been on flights and I really like the fact that this would fit in my rollerboard. I don't carry the camera in the rollerboard when I check my luggage. I carry the camera by itself in my soft case onto the airplane, unless I know I'm going to be able to get luggage space above me. I don't never check the camera. I never check the camera. But when I know that I'm going to have room in the rollerboard and I can squeeze in my tripod and my Matterport camera and a lot of my accessories that I travel with, I just really like that. So this tripod's going to cost you, I think, the same amount as the other one. Maybe it's a couple bucks more, but truly just having it fit in the suitcase is a big deal. So let me just, and then, let me just, I'm actually doing this wrong because I actually would like to show you this. Is just kind of a point of information is when you, because I know some of you may have gotten a Matterport camera and you may not have been a photographer before that. And so a lot of this stuff that you might know as a photographer may not be obvious. But when you want to extend the legs on the tripod, start up here with the thickest leg, not at the bottom. And the reason for that is if your tripod if you decide not to have it fully extended, and we happen to shoot not fully extended frequently, you want to have the most stability for your tripod. And so the stability is not with your little ones, it's actually with your bigger legs. So I think that makes sense. So hopefully I've explained that okay. So you'd extend that, then extend the next big one, and then you may not end up even extending the smaller case here. So I just want to set this up just for a second because there's something else I'd like to show you. Anyway, if you're just tuning in, you're watching WGAN-TV, WGAN-TV Live. We're live at 5. Today is Monday, August 21, Solar Eclipse Day. And hope you had a chance to get out and experience the eclipse. And if you did, please share some of your pictures and videos in the forum. Anyway, so I think you can now see the top of the tripod. It's not the height that we would normally do this, but I just, for purposes of giving you a little demonstration here. This is the head that We Get Around Atlanta uses. This is I want to say it's a DLV. I'm going to actually forget what it is, but it's on our shopping list. It's whenever anybody asks about heads, this is what I write about. And I just love this head. So anyway, it screws onto the top of your tripod. It actually is two separate pieces. So that's piece one. And then here's piece two that has this quick release plate that goes to the bottom of your camera. So if I just put that on here, then I can slide the camera in here. But I'm going to take this off for the moment because what I really wanted to show you were these pieces here. I'm going to see if I can put it behind my shirt so it kind of lights up a little bit for you. Okay, thank you, Mike. So these three pieces, you can raise and lower these instead of trying to raise and lower the tripod legs. And so when I first started shooting, and I think I think I did, I don't know, 100,000, may have been 300,000 square feet when I initially started, when I bought the camera in July of 2014. And it just turned out I had lots of friends that had, humongous spaces, and I wanted to practice scanning. And so I did this, 100,000 square foot space and this 50,000 square foot, college and university. And you end up putting a lot of wear and tear if you're kind of trying to adjust your tripod legs to adjust the height of the camera. And so I find it's much, much better to adjust the height of the camera if you use these pieces here. And then I don't even know how to explain it other than when your camera is on the top. Let me see if we can actually do that for you. It just becomes kind of ingrained about what the right direction is to move those things. So this is a quick release plate. You want to make sure that this is tight, not too tight that you strip something, but tight enough, that it's on there firmly. You're going to want to take your level, put your level up on top of the camera. I guess you can't actually see it, but if I put a level on here, then I can actually start adjusting these for the subtle pieces. So anyway, I'm going to actually take the camera off. And incidentally, I should tell you, the forum will probably light up a number of people who have tried this and don't like it. Granted, it's not for everyone. It is possible that it's from time to time you may get some scanning errors that tell you the camera is not stable, and that may be related to the fact that these are springs and they're going up and down, up and down, up and down. So even in the last week where I've scanned, gee, it seems like I probably probably scanned almost 10 miles worth. That's how I think of it, because I keep track in my iPhone. So, you do 10 miles worth of scanning, you're going to get some bad scanning errors. And in some cases, I'm on some kind of cushy carpet and I'm coming downstairs and, there's some other issue going on. So I'll actually attach the camera when I do start to get those scanning errors on a piece of carpet and something that's difficult. I'll attach the camera physically right here. It does have, you can actually do that. You say, well, why do I need to pay for that head when I can just screw my camera right onto the tripod? Well, I guess you could do this, but if you're doing this a lot, you just really want to have the right tools. And certainly at the very least, you want to have a quick release plate. Your camera is probably, among the most expensive things that you own, and therefore, if you keep turning it around, one day you're gonna end up, dropping it. So I think this is a much better solution in terms of attaching, to your tripod and using the quick release feature. So anyway, so I got that on there, and just to do it one more time so you can see, it just kind of is a little slot. It goes in there, and I'm going to tighten this. And then I think I have my tripod a little bit backwards for your purposes, but if I pull this over here, you can see that I have this knob for quick release, and then I have this knob related to the height of the tripod, so I can make that go up and tighten this. So if you're using this, and you probably are, and you're using this, and you probably are, when you're shooting for 5 or 7 hours, double check, make sure things are tight, that it's not unwinding and coming off on you. So anyway, so that was, who would think it would take so long to tell you about a tripod, a camera head, and a bag, but I got a lot of other stuff to talk to you about. And tape measure. So how high do you want the camera to be? So right there, right now it's at 56 inches, and over time we've changed the height of the camera. We used to scan to about 60 inches here, and now we're probably closer to 57 inches going to the top. And I think it looks a little bit better. Curious what everyone else has to say on this topic. I tend to, if we're doing a hotel room, we'll put the camera almost down to doorknob height in order to make the room look bigger. But just scanning a house, I'm just always taking notes to say, okay, if I'm scanning at this height, well, how much height to the ceiling is it? And then keep track of the notes to say on my next scanning project, how high was the ceiling in the next one? And then all of a sudden you're looking at the scans and you go, okay, this height seems to be a little bit better. And we tend to scan on the low side. I think Matterport probably says scan at eye level. And I find that when you scan at eye level, at least for my height, or maybe for my wife's height, which is a little bit less, you're still kind of tilting the view on a desktop as opposed to just walking through a space and everything is nice verticals. So you tend to be like looking down a little bit, and it turns all your verticals on an slant, and I don't like slanty verticals. I like to walk through a space where they're nice vertical. So I've lowered the camera from when we first started shooting. So bear with me while I have a sip of water. So anyway, so that's some of the gear. I carry a lens cloth, and you really shouldn't need this, and you really shouldn't need to use it, and you probably shouldn't use it. But what I wanted to point out is that there are the lenses on the camera, and particularly if you end up doing a construction site scan, you're liable to get dust on that plate. And frankly, if you're scanning with dust on that plate during a regular house scan, it's likely that you're not going to see any of the dust, and it's not going to matter. Excuse me. But if you're shooting a 360 view outside, as soon as you go outside, and as soon as you have the flare of the sun, those little pieces of dirt on the front of the camera lens, they're going to matter, and you're going to wish, oh, I wish I had just like one of these things. So anyway, you can buy packets of them. I happen to like this one, the Magic Fiber, as I think they probably come 25 or 50 to a pack, and so that's kind of cool. I mentioned that I scanned, I think in this past week, about 10 miles, literally checking my iPhone app. And so I actually have special shoes. Now, this doesn't fit in my suitcase, but I still consider this part of my essential gear. This is, let me see if I can pull it out. I got these shoes from the walking company. I think they're in every mall in America. And this one I think is called the OBO. Anyway, if you're wondering what kind of shoes that I have, I actually wrote a full page blog post about it because I love these shoes. And they actually have like a three-dimensional. They measure your foot in 3 dimensions, and then they put the right 3-dimensional pad in the shoe. So it's really nuts. But the salesperson said, oh, these shoes feel like you're walking on air. And I actually do. When I shoot let's see, today's Monday, and on Saturday, I believe I shot for 7 hours straight doing a house. And while I can certainly feel, my body could feel that I, just did 7 hours of scanning and walking 5 miles in a 3-story house, my feet didn't hurt at the end of the scan. And so I love these. And I love them so much that I'm actually wearing another pair right now that they're in black. So I'm the fashionista that I am. I have brown and black. And then every once in a while, I'm doing a fancy location, and I want to be able to walk through the hotel, the lobby of a 5-star hotel, and not look like I came from the gym. So these are not the dressiest shoes, but these are the same kind of shoe from the walking company, and it has the same inner piece. And so I'll wear some nice shoes when I go on a shoot, as appropriate, because I can walk into the lobby of a very nice hotel with my everything packed in my roller board and maybe carrying my tripod and my nice bag and my nice shoes, and they're not going to ask me to come in through the service entrance. I'd rather come in through the front door. And I know this is probably really obsessive, but I wanted to show you the socks. I get the socks from the walking company. And incidentally, the walking company doesn't pay me. I wish they gave me free shoes. I think that would be a great idea. I did mention Amazon Associates, that I'm an Amazon associate, and I do get 4 or more % on purchases, but not on my socks and shoes here from the walking company. These socks are just so comfortable when paired with the shoes. So anyway, I love my socks. I thought I'd show you that. And I'm not done. I got a lot of other stuff to to show you. So I carry, incidentally, if you're just tuning in, this is WGAN-TV Live. We're live at 5 o'clock Eastern Time in Atlanta. I'm Dan Smigrod, founder of the We Get Around Network Forum, and I'm taking you through my Matterport services provider, my Matterport service provider gear kit, everything that I take on a shoot when I go shoot, and actually my teammate does as well. So doorstop. This is like my favorite doorstop. It's called a Wedget, WEDGE-IT. This doorstop, one of the first jobs that I worked on had these massive industrial doors that went outside, and it was a really windy day, and I was carrying door stops like these, the kind you would expect is pedestrian door stops. Well, there was nothing that was going to keep that large door open, either because there was too much of a gap between the door and the floor. And somehow I miraculously got it to be open. But that set me on a search to find the ultimate doorstop. And this piece here actually goes on the inside of the hinge of a door, and there is no way that door is going to close. It is amazing. And it turns out you can also use it like that to go under the door, and you can do that on the top of the door. And I think you can actually slide it under the door. But the way I typically do it is to put this over that hinged plate between the door and the wall. Goes like that, and it just sits there, and that door is going to stay open. And I like to make sure that all my doors are open when I scan, because if you're scanning with doors open and closed, that can be problematic. That's for a different day. Anyway, so I actually am, again, a bit obsessive. So I carry lots of door stops, and I'm sure I could probably move them from room to room. But I try to actually stage the space. So anyway, just to show you, I got a lot of them. So thank you. So I have a lot of door stops because I like to stage the space once, be done with it, and then I go through at the end of the shoot and just make sure I've picked everything up. I always carry tape with me. I have duct tape, I have Scotch tape, industrial Scotch tape, and I have painter's tape. Excuse me. And so I notice a lot of times if I open a door and there's curtains and it's windy, the curtains flutter. And it's okay, you can still shoot your Matterport and it'll be fine. But I don't like to have the curtains be misstitched together because something was moving. So it's nice to be able to use the painter's tape behind the curtains and just hold it down. Sometimes you need something industrial. The duct tape is actually come to my rescue on really significant ways. That I'm really excited that I carry this. It really is just that important. You know, one time that you're going to have something that happens with a piece of something, and you're going to need the heavier stuff, Scotch tape as well. Let's see, what else do we got? Whoa! I actually have my television studio here elevated on some books, and I've knocked the books out. So that's what happened there. Okay. So I love these. These are the blue booties. Like if you go to a hospital or something, somebody's walking around in these kinds of things. If you're lucky enough to have a general contractor show up, that all the construction people are, wearing booties. And to me, I will not do a shoot unless I am wearing these. Whether the floor needs it or not, I am walking around with these things. For two reasons. One, like I said, I did a scan this past weekend of. I'm trying to think. Showed up at 10 o'clock. Got done at 6, so that would have been 8 hours. I actually scanned for 7.5 hours solid, and I wear these. First of all, the homeowner's there, and the homeowner just feels so much better about. Oh my gosh, you actually care about their property. But just to give you a side for just kind of a little parenthetical, I scanned at Ebenezer Baptist Church, a national landmark. It's where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Preached every Sunday. It was historic, and when I came in the second day to scan, I actually had to do the space over the course of 3 days. But when the curator saw that I was wearing these, and I brought my scan work in progress, so I was able to show him, what I did. All of a sudden, like that, he enabled me to have access to the pulpit and the choir, which is a space that's not open to the public, and then also into a balcony, which is not open to the public. Because he saw that I was wearing these and that I respected the property and that I cared, and so but I must say, even I've shot a house. What was the house? It was we were doing an insurance related project. And the house had water damage. It's got water damage, but I still respect that the person who's going through the water damage hasn't emotionally detached from the fact that, the floors and the carpets and everything is coming up because it's all been water damage. So, even in that situation, even though the floor is coming up, the carpet's coming up, I still walk in with these blue things. They're so inexpensive. You buy them like a case of 100, at a time. So anyway, I mentioned that I'm going to grab a bag over here. Just take me a second. I mentioned that I scanned for 7.5 hours straight. I was on site for 8 hours on Saturday, and it happened to be an empty house, and the homeowner is the one who let me in. The refrigerator's off. It's extremely hot in the house. And I'd be frightened to actually have water out of the tap. So I actually always carry water, and I carry a lot of water with me. But I thought I'd bring you and show you what I was carrying on Saturday. I love this particular cereal, so I can eat it out of the box. All kinds of, it really doesn't matter, what I eat, but, stuff that you granola, love granola, fig bars. So I'm trying to bring things that I can eat, quickly and maybe just sustain me in some way. And I know I posted in the We Get Around Network forum, after my shoot, and showed a pic, or actually during my shoot, I shot a picture of everything. And I left out the yogurt. I brought a cooler with 2 yogurts on ice, and that was kind of really a treat for me. So, anyway, I posted a picture of everything that I was eating and brought with me. And I know a member of the forum wrote that he gets Uber Eats to the rescue, and I think, oh, what a great idea. Like I have not done that, but now that that a member of the forum has mentioned that, I think that would have been a good plan to call in Uber Eats and take a real lunch break. I happened to be under the gun, and I had the social plans with my wife and some friends, and so I knew I needed to book to get through the house as quick as possible. So I wasn't going to take a half hour, an hour. I was going to, yeah, and I was hard pressed to get everything done. Anyway, I got it all done in time. So anyway, which kind of brings me to so anyway, bring water. You don't want to be dehydrated. Last thing you want to do is faint on your shoot, particularly if nobody's there to come to your rescue. It's actually something I do think about, is that, you know, the agents or homeowners or client, whoever is often leaving us in the house alone. So you know, it's really important to make sure that you're not going to get dehydrated and fall down, because nobody's going to be there to rescue you. So anyway, all right, what's up next? I love this. I forget what this is called. An inverter. This is a 300-watt power inverter by BStek, B-E-S-T-E-K, Bestek. Anyway, what is this? I had no idea what an inverter was when I get going in photography, but you can see this has, you plug this into your cigarette lighter in the car. If you still have one, that's really a good question. You might want to check if your car actually still has a cigarette lighter to plug actually something into. But our car has, so I plug this into the car. And now, if I need to be charging the camera or the laptop, and I have 2 USB ports, I'm in like Flint. I happen to love using this. My wife and I uh, go on an annual family vacation at the beach. It's about a 7-hour drive, and we go through places that long drive doesn't have a lot of Wi-Fi opportunities, and sometimes either she or I are banging away at our laptop, and it's nice to actually have power and then pull into McDonald's, upload the file, and then continue on with the journey. So let's see, what else do we have here? Let's see, is it possible? I'm actually getting close to running out of stuff. I have a lot of other gear that I travel with, but it's not necessarily related to a Matterport scan, but I do carry it. I'm just going to show you one item, but well, I'll show you 3 items, and then we'll call it quits related to the Matterport stuff. So I do happen to carry a Ricoh Theta S camera to shoot 360s. Now that the Matterport camera has 360 views, I find that I don't use this as frequently, but there are opportunities of why I would want to use this. And I have a selfie pole with me. I just wanted to show you. This just happens to be a carbon fiber selfie pole with a professional mount at the bottom. I really love this, so I can use this with my professional tripod. But I do carry. Let me see if I can. Here they are. This is like really geeky. So right now I can take my professional mount. Let's see how I can do that. Right, and then I can put this here. Screw this in. I think this attachment's about accessory is about $1. I mean, that's about what it is. But it now stepped it down to a consumer grade tripod, and so I don't think I have one with me, but I carry a small tripod, and you know, boom, I can attach it either to a small little teeny tripod, or I can take that piece off. And then most importantly, with the Ricoh Theta S, boop, I can just simply, it has a consumer grade on the top of the tripod, put that in here, and then boom, set that on, and then I can be raising and lowering my carbon fiber pole. I love the selfie pole. It's good. I just wanted to show you just one other little attachment, and then I'm going to just do a quick survey, make sure that I actually showed you everything I wanted to. This piece here, I'm going to attach this. Boom. And now I can use that with a cell phone. Boom. So like that, let's see, and then turn that like this. Okay, take those pictures off. So I have my little phone. And then in the back, I don't know if you can see this, but it has a ball joint. So I can loosen that, I guess would be the right word. And I can rotate that any way I want. So in fact, when I was shooting the eclipse today, and it was not shooting the sun and the moon, I was actually shooting the people that were looking up, the hundreds of people that were looking up at the eclipse. And I wanted to use, in fact, Mike, do you mind just grabbing that large pole for a second? So thank you. Thank you. So I actually have my carbon fiber pole from Nodal Ninja, and I forget, I think this might go up 12 feet attached to professional tripod, but then I actually connected these two devices together, and then I had this, and then I could actually tilt this down on a slant and get it to the right angle that I wanted in order to put it up. Anyway, it's too much detail for today's discussion, which is really what is in your Matterport service provider gear kit. But I just wanted to show you, I do carry some other things. Maybe we'll make that a separate, what is in bag 2, behind door number 2 of all the stuff that, that I carry. Anyway, let me just look around the table, do a quick survey. And incidentally, in this Ricoh Theta, there are now about 70 cameras. I mean, here's one. This is the InstaAir 360 that happens to fit on a Samsung on an Android phone. It's got that little Android kind of attachment thing. So $130. This is probably a few $100s. So I'm always learning, and so I just bring other stuff with me, and I'm constantly shooting just to see what else I can, do differently on a shoot that I haven't done, and try something. So anyway, you've been kind enough. If you've been with me now, it's been 45 minutes of me talking nonstop about the Matterport service provider gear kit, everything that's in the We Get Around Atlanta kit of what I include. And let's see, I'm going to see if I know Marcus has been patiently waiting here and see if we can. Yeah. So Marcus, if you can turn down your television set, I think that's what they say on, like in radio broadcast or something. We're about a 10 or 12, 15-second delay. Now, if you actually want to ask questions, if you're still there, Marcus, you've been very patient. Oh, I probably surprised Marcus. So, he typed back no questions. Okay, so I'm gonna move him off the screen at the moment. Let's see if I can figure out that. Change role. Okay, boom. So anyway, I thank you. It's been about I've been chatting now for about 45 minutes about what's in the We Get Around Atlanta Matterport service provider gear kit. All the stuff that either I or a colleague on my team brings with us when we go to scan any job. In our case, we try to be really diligent about making sure everything mise en place, everything in its place. So everything gets packed up in the suitcase. We try to pack it up the same way. So whether I am shooting or someone else is scanning, everything is in its own place. And again, I know you may be tempted to say, oh, I'm just starting out. I already have an iPad. I'm using it for something else. I already have a tripod. I already have a head. If you're really serious about doing Matterport, then there's a certain set of gear that's typically essential that you have, so that even just the handles on your tripod don't show up in the bottom, or that you have the right uh, uh, tripod head so that you can adjust your camera and not destroy your tripod. I've actually been through 2 tripods before I actually got that special head. So anyway, so this is actually today, Monday, August 21st, 2017, the day of the solar eclipse. It was actually very exciting to get out and join hundreds of fellow Atlanta Tech Village colleagues checking that out. So I just wanted to give you a date so that you knew that if you're watching this perhaps a year or 2 years from now, that things likely have changed. Incidentally, when I bought a battery, these things seem to change every 6 months. When you're buying one of these, and really they're in fact, I didn't mention this on the camera, but the camera battery is great. The Matterport tech team put in a great battery. I've never had an issue. I think I've done probably as long as a 12, it might have even been a 14-hour shoot construction, and that might have taken it down to, all done. But my iPad does tend to run out on very long shoots. So, ABC, always be charging. In terms of which one of these is right for you, that's a personal decision. I would always, if I could, get one that had the 4 ports. I'd probably get one that's not as big because it is in my pocket, and this one's particularly heavy, and it's heavy carrying in my bag. Anyway, I love having extra juice, and you actually will make friends with this. In fact, a little bit off topic, but how did I end up doing a major university in Atlanta, shooting probably close to 100,000 square feet? Excuse me. I was at a social media conference, and sitting next to me, which turned into my client, is she happened to be short on juice, and there weren't any outlets wherever this conference was. And I said, would you like to charge up your device? And so I made, make friends fast, with this kind of charger. It's charge your smartphone, charge your iPad, and you're in like Flint. So we'll wrap it up. You've been watching WGAN-TV live at 5. Today's been our premiere broadcast to the forum members. We actually do have a virtual studio audience. I hope you'll consider joining us in the future. If you, I think if I'm pointing in the right direction, I'm not sure I'm pointing in the right direction. Do I point this way? Not sure. Anyway, off to your right side is the join virtual studio audience, and that we'd really like to turn this into a roundtable discussion to have many members on the video chat simultaneously, and then streaming it live to the forum. There is a thread below about today's topic, what's in your Matterport service provider gear kit. So if you have questions about today's program, please pop in your questions there. If you have ideas of things that you like to carry in your Matterport service provider gear kit, please include what you like, why you like it. If you, ideally, put a picture in there, even better. Record a little video, pop it in there. And then maybe we'll revisit this topic in a year and see, how things might have, changed in a year. So, thank you for watching, and you've been watching WGAN TV. I'm Dan Smigrod, founder of the We Get Around Network Forum. Enjoy your evening, and in a moment I'll figure out if I can figure out actually how to end our live chat.